in the city of Salford, and this is the way the two teams line up. Wiltshire is the Salford full-back. Then they've got the new boy, Darryl Goulding, on loan from Wigan, Littler, Turner and Ratchford, Jeremy Smith and Richard Myler. The forwards, Cashmere, Alker, who is the captain again, and Stapleton, Adamson, Parker and Swain. And the bench is occupied by Luluai, Robbie Paul, Jewett and Adam Sidlow. The coach is Sean McRae. Now Hull, Richard Horne has taken over at full-back tonight. They then go Calderwood, Whiting, Yeaman and Graham Horne, the three-quarters. Danny Washbrook at stand-off, Chris Thorman, the scrum half. Forwards, Dowes, Thomas Lee and Thackeray, Manu, Tickle and the captain, Lee Radford. And on the bench, Peter Cusack, Danny Houghton, Mike Burnett and Dominic Maloney. And the coach is Richard Agar. Well, they had a fantastic start, did Hull. They've started with 5 straight wins. Now, including the cup defeat by Salford, they've lost 6 straight. 6 straight. It's their worst sequence for a decade. Hope for Hull going back to 2001. They have won their last 15 league meetings with Salford, and they have won on each of their last 7 visits to the Willows. Salford, though, wins over Easter. They won 2 from 3. It really did shake up the Super League. They knocked Hull out of the Challenge Cup on April the 15th, 22-18, and they can get to within 2 points of the Black and Whites if they win here. The last Super League win against Hull, September the 3rd, 2000, 33-24. Martin Afire scored 2 of their 6 tries, and that was their 4th consecutive Willows defeat of Hull since they gained promotion in 1998. Jamie Leahy is the match official. He's the man in the middle. And I hope his blue strip doesn't get in the way of the Hull blue strip tonight, but we shall see. It's Danny Tickle who is going to get this game underway, and he hammers the ball downfield. And this is a big test of Hull, Steve-O. Having said that, it's also a big test of Salford. Can they capitalise on their wonderful Easter?
Well, their coach, Richard Agar, realises that the forwards really have to set the platform. They have been a little bit diabolical in that department over the past couple of weeks. Salford, of course, Sean McRae said that once they started to click, they would build in confidence. And it is their forward pack that's really done it. And I think it's an amazing turnaround as well. Remember, Malcolm Alker was stripped of the captaincy early in the season. And since he's taken over, I think he's brought a lot more steadiness to the side.
It's Salford who are in possession here. Trying to work the ball away. Oh, and that's a mistake from John Wiltshire.
Well, there'll be no advantage, and Jamie Lee will take him back. Good defence, good work there by Danny Tickle. Wiltshire really should have controlled the football there. Nerves are plenty, not only for the players, but Sean McRae. He realises that slowly but surely they're getting back into the swing of things. Took a while.
This is Richard Horne starting the match at full-back, but every time, obviously, that Hull are in possession, he will be an integral part of their attack. This now is Willie Manu.
Interesting decision that, isn't it? Evidently Richard Horne has requested from his coach Richard Agar that he play in the full-back position. When they were on song early in the season, it was Chris Thorman and Richard Horne that were really working well together.
Thomas Lee is the dummy half for Hull here. They're about 20 metres away from the Salford line with Thorman. And he gets the ball away, and this now is Richard Whiting. Whiting will get to his feet and will play it to Danny Washbrook. And then the ball is with Tickle. Referee has actually called that as the 4th tackle. I think it might be a miscall because he gave 4th just a few moments ago. That's now 5th, he says. Oh, I wonder. This is Willie Manu, and now it is with Chris Thorman. Tries to drill the kick through, and he's going to get this ball back, is Thorman, and the referee wipes the tackle count clean. Another 6 to go, but Thorman didn't hear the call, I don't think. He did not hear that call. Mind you, there's work to do here for Jeremy Smith.
Oh, dangerous.
Well, they get away with it, but only just. Stephen Ratchford was given a real hospital pass then by Jeremy Smith.
Players must really hate the thought of a goal line dropout, because we see how desperate they are to avoid it at all costs. Good work here by Hull to keep the ball alive, and although he kicked a little early in the tackle count, the quality of the kick and the accuracy of it is sufficient for Hull here now to get 6 more tackles.
Wiltshire with the drop out from underneath the posts, and it just gets over the halfway line. Ewan Dowes will drive it back for Hull. They lost all three over Easter. Bottom of the table, Celtic Crusaders did the same. They were the only two in Super League to come up with a blank Easter, and they want to put that behind them. Lee Radford gets to his feet, plays the ball to Thomas Lee. This now is Thorman. Here is Richard Horn, and there's an interception. Brilliantly collected out of the air by Goulding, and Darryl Goulding, on loan from Wigan, is going to score for the Salford City Reds. He has got one try this year for Wigan. He now has one try for Salford, and that's a fantastic start for Salford after a mistake-ridden 3.5 minutes by them. Darryl Goulding, he was the man sniffing the interception. Straight in against the Catalan Dragons. He's only played 3 times for Wigan this year, and he hasn't actually played since February, but he has come up here with the first try of the night.
And what a time to come up with a try on your home debut. Not the best pass from Richard Horn, and he snuck it away there. There was no chance for Yeoman to get to it. He did everything right. He came in and then went out wide, made sure that the winger on the other side, which was Calderwood, who he knows has got the speed, he's thinking now, where are they? They're coming across. He went in, then he went out. That is a beautiful try. Noted to play in the centres more than the winger, but boy, oh boy, he positioned himself quite superbly.
Yes, great try from Darryl Goulding on his home debut, as you say, and that's his first in Salford's colours. Now, John Wiltshire, the Papua New Guinea international, he needs 2 points for 700 in the British game, and if this sails over, he has achieved that milestone, and he's given Salford the perfect 6. He's missed with that.
One touch just put the flag up, Eddie, and the other one waved away. Now,
but I think the referee has given it.
Well, amazing. Very rarely do you see that in a game of rugby league. The 2 touch judges. One indicates it's a successful conversion. The other one waves it away.
I think the referee's got it right.
Yeah.
Well, the man on the post where it just snuck in, he said no. The other fella said yes. And then the referee has the call, and he has given the 2 points.
He's got it right.
If you're working the scoreboard, just put 2 more points on it. You're at Salford.
6-0 to the Salford City Reds.
One, move, hands
But it's good that
Wiltshire gets his 700 points then.
It's good that they do go to the replay at it just to make sure, but Jamie Lee got it absolutely spot on.
Well, as soon as the ball sailed over the top of the post, Jamie Leahy blew a whistle and awarded the successful conversion from Wiltshire.
On the side, wait, go.
6-0, Salford lead against Hull here. This is Rob Parker now, the man that they brought from Warrington last year. That's Olka. That's a great ball round the corner. And here goes Stapleton, and Myler's in support, and Salford will score the second try in quick succession. Well, it's all gone terribly wrong for Hull all of a sudden. It's gone absolutely right for Salford, and Myler, 9 tries now, really is pushing claims to be England's next scrum half in the Quad Nations come the end of the year. And he's got 4 tries in his last 4 matches before tonight. He's just got another one here.
Tremendous play by the prop forward, Ray Cashmere. Watch this. Sucks them in, offload, absolutely superb. The whole defence completely awash. They didn't know what was happening. And when 2 went for Cashmere, he just popped it up. Brilliant play. Superb. And you're right, Eddie. This Richard Myler is making a name for himself. Great support.
And there are only Gareth Hogg and Leon Price who've made more offloads this season than Ray Cashmere. It's clearly one of Salford's greatest strengths, and they need to capitalise it on whenever he has the ball and takes it forward. He can get his arms free in the tackle, and again we've seen a perfect example of how they turn it into 4 more points.
This time the touch judges both agree that John Wiltshire has missed that conversion, but Salford lead 10-0. Now, when we were here first game of the season, they got off to a similar start to this, Salford, against the Celtic Crusaders. And then they faded a bit and Celtic got back into the match. They lead here, though, by 10 points to 0.
They've got a lot more confidence already. They've turned over Warrington, they've turned over Leeds. But big credit there goes out to Cashmere and Craig Stapleton pushing up into that next hole, support play, because he knows that Cashmere, every time he goes into the collision, he's looking to offload the ball. But Richard Agar will be very disappointed. He's challenged his players earlier on in the week to stand up and be counted. He said, you've got to go out there and need a real leader.
Luke Swain, the man who played for the Gold Coast last year.
But isn't it brilliant to see a prop forward not just used as a battering ram, because you could see that his body was twisting and he sucked in the two defenders and offloaded. Quite superb. Old-fashioned maybe, but effective.
Alker to his feet, plays the ball to Wilshire. In very quickly was Ewan Dowes to effect the tackle on Ray Cashmere. And long kick downfield into the sunshine. Mark Calderwood collects it. That's a good wall, though, from Salford to greet him.
Eddie, we're 9 minutes into this game almost, and that's only the 9th time Hull have played the ball. Salford really have started this game in fantastic form and converted the chances into points. In Super League now at the highest level, that is the difference between the two teams.
Richard Horne disappears under the attention of 3. Parker and Swain, the last 2 to peel away. And here now is Jamie Thackeray for Hull FC.
They need something special, got to settle themselves down. Okay, they've been rocked by 2 early tries. That looks slightly forward there. Danny Washbrook looked about half a metre in front when he received that.
Washbrook playing only his 6th game of 2009. Thorman under pressure, but got the kick away, and Wilshire with the knock on. Oh, that's a huge error from John Wilshire. And he is furious with himself.
They came up with one very early in the game as well. That's number 2. That will not please his coach, Sean McRae. He has the buffer of the 10-point lead, but golden opportunity when they really should have been carting the ball back upfield. Now, if Hull have got a set move here, this is about the place that they should do it.
Carl Fitzpatrick, the regular full-back for Salford, still out of the side, injured. This is a great opportunity, though, for Richard Horne and Hull. Good tackle low down, though, by Myler on Washbrook. This is Graham Horne.
Move.
Thomas Lee is the dummy half. Back it comes to Richard Horne. Richard Horne then to Thorman. There's a bit of space for Thorman. He floats it wide. There's a massive amount of space for Calderwood, and Calderwood touches down for Hull. And the mistake from John Wilshire has been costly for Salford. But Mark Calderwood, that's his 4th try of the year. He's been ever present so far. He's suddenly hit form, tries in his last 2 matches. Almost 250 career appearances for this fellow now, Mark Calderwood. Formerly with Leeds and Wigan, of course. And Calderwood, just what Dr. Agar ordered this. Calderwood with the try, and Hull are in the match.
All he needs is the error, and that came from the fullback, John Wilshire. Get themselves into the position. Second page. Watch for the fullback, Richard Horne, coming through. 2 dummies out wide. Perhaps he could have squeezed into the corner, but it didn't matter. He knew he had Stephen Ratchford out of position, so therefore he takes the step, and once they try to get back, Ratchford couldn't stop him. Good finish, but what an error from the fullback, John Wilshire.
Yes, expensive error. 4 points it has cost his team. Mark Calderwood, playing for England in the World Cup last year, of course. 27 years of age. Had his best days at the Leeds Rhinos. Hasn't really recaptured that sort of form since he left Leeds, first for Wigan and now for Hull. But he's got tries now in his last 3 matches. And Danny Tickle here, one of the best goal kickers in the business. And it's on the right side of the field for him. Can he drift it between the posts on the wing? No, he has missed with that. It's a swirling wind at the Willows tonight. It is making kicking conditions difficult.
So you see Turner, Ratchford, they've both gone for the 2 centres that are linking in. Long ball out wide. It's a superb pass from Richard Horne, and well finished.
Steve, I'm going to defend Ratchford and Turner there because it was Jeremy Smith who was at fault. He went flying in, he cut the angle, he cut across some of his own defenders to try and stop the play that Hull were creating. Now if he keeps his line, he prevents that try.
The kick-off from Wilshere straight into Washbrook's hands. Number 20, Stefan Ratchford. Luke Adamson, I beg your pardon. This is Lee Radford now, the Hull skipper. Let's go down to the sideline and let's hear from Bill.
Eddie, the scoreboard might not reflect it, but there's quite a positive mood in the Hull camp this week. And a bit of a score to settle as well, because they still feel aggrieved about the way they went out of the Cup to the Salford City Reds with a controversial late try that they think was down to a forward pass. And there's a bit of a score to settle in that respect. There's a bit of embarrassment as well in the background with the Stuart Reardon business and a bit of discontent from the supporters. So what they know is that they've got to come up with a big performance on the field.
Well, that's a good kick and chase.
You talk about a big performance. It was not the best kick from Chris Thorman. It's so important in this modern day. You've got to get the kick and chase sorted out. We saw that late in the second half last night, the way that that Bradford just kept pegging Saints back and they ran out of steam.
Yeah, the kick wasn't crash hot for Hull, but the chase was okay.
You win. 4, move. Oh, go.
Alka, he's inside the 40, but that's gone over the head, sails over the head of Richard Horne. That will run dead. So Salford will line up on the 30-metre mark and will invite Hull to come at them.
Wait.
Hoping to claim back-to-back home wins, Salford for the first time in a couple of years. They beat Warrington here on Good Friday, then went to Headingley, beat Leeds for the first time in Super League and the first time at Headingley since 1977. So it's been an historic season already for Salford. Their first season back in the big time after gaining promotion, having swept the board under Sean McRae in the National League last year. National League that, of course, now is the Cooperative Championship. Thomas Lee to Foreman, and a mistake from Willie Manu. It's catching.
Just simple errors. Schoolboy stuff, really. Nothing wrong with the pass at all. Just took his eye off the football. See the defence coming towards him. It amazes me at times, full-time professionals. I know they can come up with an error, but when it's schoolboy stuff, it must be irritating for your coach. Richard Agar will be furious.
Oh, this is Stuart Littler.
Move. Hold.
Disappeared under the challenge, though, from Radford and Washbrook. Now it is Luke Adamson. Got a try here against Warrington on Good Friday, Adamson. Alka pointing, directing his troops. Good ball there from Jeremy Smith. Oh, and a brilliant offload to Malcolm Alka. It was Ray Cashmere again. Jeremy Smith, the dummy half this time. Finds Myler. Myler then to Wilshere. Great tackle. Good tackle low down by Kirk Yeaman. Here's Littler again, the Irish international for Salford. Last tackle. Alka weighing up the options both ways. Myler puts it to the sky. It's flicked back and still flicked back.
That could be back to 6.
And that's found its way over the sideline. It's the turnover, says
there was a knock-on from Danny Washbrook. Yeah. I think that's what the Salford players are appealing for here.
That's the one that I saw as well. Could have been a knock-on. Ed and Fee, they got away with it.
On such things do teams' fortunes change.
Certainly did. Showed last night. Jeffries, knock-on that everyone saw, but the officials.
And there's another one. Foreman, looping ball over the top to Kirk Yeaman. Solid Salford defence. Parker and Alka. Alka is the tackling machine for Salford. Ewan Dowes pops the ball up. Short pass.
That's poor play by Hull. You don't put a short pass to one of the smallest men out in the field of play.
This is Radford.
Taking nothing away from the Salford defence and moving up quickly, but they've got to give themselves a little bit more room of Hull.
Thomas Lee, back it comes to Washbrook. Gets the ball away nicely to Richard Whiting. Richard Whiting, of course, you remember him, the 2005 Super League Young Player of the Year.
Okay.
Up goes a high kick this time from Thorman. Nobody's interested. Ooh, this could be fatal for Salford, but to the rescue.
One. Move. Get here, Willie.
Alka. Long ball inside, and it's the standoff Jeremy Smith again. New Zealand international back in 2007.
Amazing there. Salford allowing the ball to bounce. Got away with it. Darryl Goulding just got a lucky break. It was good work to bring them back to nearly into the 30-metre mark.
Craig Stapleton's having a second shot at Super League, was in the Lee side that had a dip at Super League in 2005. Ball has come free, and I think it's a knock-on here by Salford.
Second attempt, the first one, it dislodges away. I must say I'm impressed the way that Ray Cashmere always goes into the defensive line, tries to spin and offload. That's the third time he's tried to do that. Remember, he was the man that created the try for Myler eventually.
Richard Horne now trying to create something for Hull, taking on Myler. 4 in there, that's good defence. Forcing him to the ground. Yeaman is the dummy half for Hull. Takes the responsibility on himself. Peter Cusack has come off the bench there, number 10 for Hull. Here he is with ball now.
3, get on that line.
Dumped to the ground on tackle number 3. Thomas Lee is the dummy half here for Hull. It finds Richard Horne. This now Willie Manu. Powerful run from Manu.
4, move.
Needed good defence, and it arrived eventually. Very close though, Hull. A great chance for them here. It's with Thorman. It comes back to Washbrook, and Washbrook pops it up. This is Tickle. Tickle is spun to the ground. Good work there from Luke Adamson again. Last one here. Radford, the skipper, finds Thorman. He stabs the kick in.
Goal line.
That's a goal line dropout.
Great work by Radford there, wasn't it? Wasn't a bad kick there from Chris Thorman. They were hunting. Calderwood was there,
Drop out.
but he wouldn't get out of position on this occasion. Stephen Ratchford there did very well, but more pressure.
Chris Thorman.
When you go.
It's his, or rather his 250th
Get
career
onside.
appearance last. Oh, hang on, he's given offside here against Salford from the
Miles on
from
front.
the goal line dropout. They were too quick off their own line here. He's right, the referee. He's spot on. They're all in front. Look.
Yeah, but it happens every game. I'm not accusing the
Jamie Lee,
referee.
he isn't at every game. He's decided he's going to try and stamp down on that. That's a forward. No, it's offside. It's a forward pass. Salford get out of jail.
They certainly do.
Won't blow it if I didn't think otherwise.
Well, it's the old adage in regard to the fact that they went off from the kick out from underneath the post, Eddie. It's like, you know, well, make an
Hold
attempt
that,
when you're playing the ball, you
Look
don't
in,
touch
Richard.
it.
Let's go.
Strange.
2 hands on it, Jess. Come on, out.
Well, if they're in front of the kicker, they've got to blow the whistle, Steve-O, to be fair. I share your opinion about the play the ball, by
He's
the
good,
way, but
yeah.
I don't know whether that was a forward pass either.
Oh, I think it was.
Tommy Lee probably give the impression it was a forward pass because he's passed it and then gone behind the guy who's coming onto the ball.
Go.
But that is a lazy play. When you're coming off your line and it's a dropout, staying behind for 1 yard doesn't cost you any yardage whatsoever, does it, Steve-O?
No, you're right, but how many teams they get away with it week in, week out? Evidently, Salford won't mind. They've got out of
Move, Brad. Get your hands
pretty
out.
precarious situation. Oh, that's a silly penalty giveaway.
Well, that was a silly penalty from Richard Whiting. Craig Stapleton, the threat had been dealt with. He was trying to get up and play the ball, and Whiting just wouldn't get out of his way. So it's cheap meters downfield here for Salford.
Pretty smart play, though.
One of the first times they're actually in a good position to attack. If you think of the 2 tries, they were both long-range efforts, weren't they, over 50 metres, from which they managed to strike. You get to see what
Off we
the
go, yeah. Go.
what strategy they have closer here now to the whole line.
This is Luke Adamson again. Super League debut 3 years ago. And he really did come of age in the National League competition last year. Jeremy Smith, Myler. Oh, and the pass to Parker really wasn't on.
0.
The idea was good.
Help.
Myler's got a very nice pair of hands and the ability to just pull away. Let the man Parker was coming into the little hole that it created, just couldn't keep it.
Well, Salford are very quick off their defensive line tonight.
2.
They're not giving Hull any room to move.
Hold. Go.
To be fair to Sean McRae, their coach, they've had to work hard on that, Eddie. the opening 4 or 5 games, they were really just being blitzed. They weren't getting up as a unit. They're certainly doing that today.
Thomas Lee, here is Ewan Dowes. He gets them over the halfway line. He's still going, Dowes. Eventually he goes to ground. Stapleton and Adamson. Lee, the dummy half. Horn. Thorman down the line. Now Wilshire watching this very carefully this time. And he begins the counter. It was a bit high, wasn't it?
Certainly looked it. Maybe confused by the official with the fact that Wilshire was going very low. It looked as though he got a bit of a smack. Manu made contact.
This is Stuart Littler again. 145th consecutive appearance for Stuart Littler. He took David Watkins' consecutive appearance record off him recently.
Knock on the floor. Knock on the floor.
I think this is head and feed to Hull FC. Knock on the floor, says the referee.
It's good ball and all tackle. Yeah. Just lost possession.
Come on.
Lee Jewett couldn't hang on to the ball as the tackle came in.
Wait, please. Get your heads in now. Stop time wasting. Let's go. Out.
Thorman feeds the scrum, then feeds Richard Horn, who pops it up to Washbrook.
Move. I'll bet you, mate. Go.
It's Thomas Lee again. Peter Cusack on the drive.
Move.
Back in the side, Peter Cusack after missing the last couple.
Can't see that.
Lee again. Back he comes to Thorman. Thorman short ball then to Tickle, which was forward.
Well, if you're going to play that very tight, flat pass, it can be misinterpreted by the officials. It's always a gamble when they do it. You can see there is just starting to drift in front of Thorman. But the opportunity's just been frittered away. Richard Agar will be wondering what on earth they can do. They haven't really got into the rhythm, Terry.
But again, Thorman passed that ball and then goes behind the guy who's hitting onto the ball, Danny Tickle, on that occasion. So that gives the effect from the referee who stood in front of him that the ball has travelled forward.
Plug his nose, please.
Richard Agar's up there, watching from on high at Salford, and alongside him, John Sharp.
Calls, fellas. You're working well. Keep listening.
Referee wants the
lads.
physiotherapist just to take a little bit of the blood off Luke Adamson's face.
You talk about that great start by Hull, Eddie. In regards to, I spoke to Richard Agar in the period when they were winning, but he was still concerned at the fact that they were still conceding tries in the final quarter.
Stay bound till I call you. Let's go. Go. Out.
Time's back on, and Jeremy Smith fires the pass.
What? Move. Hands out. Wait. Go.
Jordan Turner plays it to Smith, who finds Olker, who finds Luke Swain. Good defence from Hull on this occasion.
Wait. Go.
Both defensive lines getting up very quickly to quell any danger that might be coming, forcing the error.
Hold. Go.
Olker. Back it goes to Myler. Myler thought about a short pass to Wilshire, thought better of it.
Well drilled
tackle number 4 himself.
Well drilled defence there by Hull FC. Had to be as well.
This is Philip Luluai.
Now Richard Horn is very, very deep. I know it's the last, but with the likes of Richard Myler out there, maybe a chip over the top. Something a little bit touch different.
Well, a kick for the corner from Alka. I saw there was a bit of open space over there. Graham Horn collects it. And Rob Parker and company following up.
Good chase. You'll be pleased with that with Sean McRae.
High shot.
Kirk Ewan's head went back.
Wait, please.
There's quite a few in attendance there. Goulding certainly high in the initial impact.
Sean McRae there on the right of your screen, little shake of the head. He's 11 years as Super League coach. The only survivor from 1996, still operating in Super League. St Helens, Gateshead, Hull, South Sydney along the way. And the man next to him up there in the stand, Steve Sims, now the director of rugby here, was coach of Halifax in Super League's first season. Now he is offering support to Sean McRae. Thomas Lee is the dummy half for Hull. Chris Thorman pops the ball up to Danny Tickle.
That's
Good
great
defence. That ball's come out. It's play on though, says the referee. Went backwards. Hull the first to react. Here is Richard Whiting. He goes down, tackle number 4. Danger here for Salford. Chances then for Hull as Radford finds Richard Horn. Brilliant try from Horn coming up. Yes. Oh, now does he get it down cleanly?
Yep.
Referee's not 100% sure.
It will be fifth when
I am.
you restart. Just check the ground.
He gets it down before it gets anywhere near dead in goal.
Just check the ground in that.
Wiltshire tried everything, but that is okay. Full control. And fair play to the official, Jamie Lee. You could see there that he couldn't see because Wilshire's body was blocking him. So Richard Silverwood, the video referee, will give try, surely. Yes, he does.
He does to Richard Horn. He hasn't scored in the last 4 matches. He got tries in 4 games in a row earlier on in the season, including one against Huddersfield with us on Sky Sports. That's his 6th of Super League now, but first for 4 matches. And he's one of the youngest players, I think, ever to claim a testimonial. He's in the middle of his testimonial year, and as you can see, he's only 26 years of age, made his debut as a very fresh-faced teenager 10 years ago.
All came about by the silly penalty given away by Daryl Goulding, got them into a great position. And you can see how Richard Horn comes as the second phase. See how the dummy runner went through, and soon as he could see that Parker had not set off, he knew there was half a gap.
Stop it.
As soon as he gets the ball, he can see that Parker is just not quick enough. Wiltshire tried everything. Oh, that's a great play. He may have been selected at full back, Richard Horn, but he's playing a typical standoff position, and he'll be pleased with that.
Danny Tickle then with the chance to add the extras. And Tickle does not miss opportunities like this. The Salford lead has been whittled away. It's 10 apiece. And interesting about Richard Horn, 10 years ago this month he made his debut, and coincidentally at full back in a match at Leeds, and it's his first appearance at full back for 6 years.
Look at that, Parker, it only takes a second. But this kid's weak. He's very, very quick. Super stuff.
Well, when Hull, Phil, had the rip-roaring start to the season, Richard Horn was showing up every week, wasn't he?
Yeah, some of those games that they won, they weren't always the best side. The game at home when they played against Wigan and won, they won by 8 points, but Wigan perhaps could have gone on to win the game. Some of the games that they've lost, they've been perhaps the best side on the field. They've been close in many of the matches, and I think they'll be a competitive side all season. This will certainly be a competitive match, because I think Salford have still got a few more tries left in them, and Hull, as their confidence grows, will start to show us, I think, what they've got.
They're just getting a bit of a roll on. That's a penalty. Luluai's foot was in the ruck there, and it has to be a penalty. He just didn't clear out of the way. But they seem to have a bit of a roll on. There's the penalty. No good putting your hands on your head. Got to get out of the way.
No good shaking your head either. Well, it looks as though they had full control of this game, Eddie, and all of a sudden now, Hull come back into it. It just shows you that when you've got that little bit of speed, and let's be fair, it's taken a while, you know, for Richard Horn to get back to his best, and I think you can just sense that he's going to do that.
Lee Radford will drive the ball forward. The Hull skipper in his second spell, of course.
Wait. Go.
This now is Thorman. Thorman running from deep and causing Salford a few problems in defence. Just hanging back, waiting to see what he's going to do, as they are here with Thomas Lee. Hull are bang underneath the Salford sticks. There's Thorman. He'll fire the pass to Horn. Oh, they went for the intercept, Daryl Goulding. And luckily for Goulding, the Salford defence was there again. Last tackle here for Hull. Trying to slip the kick through. Referee says Salford offside at the play of the ball.
Sheer panic in that Salford defence at the moment. Bit of a push and shoving there from Parker, who did get a late.
Cusack!
Bang on the head. It's going to take good defence to keep Hull out at the moment.
Second consecutive set of 6 for Hull. Here is Radford. Almost pushed Swain off his feet. Thomas Lee comes down this right side with Thorman. And a great try from Richard Whiting. It's gone from 10-0 down to 14-10 to Hull. They have taken control in the last, 20 minutes or so. And Richard Whiting with the try. The England international of a couple of seasons ago comes up with his second try of Super League 14.
And again, it comes from a silly penalty given away that gets them into this position. Ricochets all over the place, and you can see there they were offside. Quite a few. Supposed to have both your feet behind the line. Good positioning by Jamie Lee, the official. And from there, they got it out wide onto the right-hand side. Take your pick. That's the reason why Parker got a little bit upset, a little bit late to the swinging arm. But by that time, Hull were in a good position. That was a beautiful ball, wasn't it, there from Chris Thorman? And you could see how Richard Whiting comes on the angle. He just disappears out of screen there. That's how quick he came. No chance with the defence from Salford. They couldn't read it. Combination, Thorman, superb pass. And this fella's run back on the angle, sufficient. They're in charge now, Hull FC.
Richard Whiting with the try. He only made 3 appearances last year. He had a lost 2008. And Danny Tickle will add the extras. 16 points without reply for Hull FC after, in the 6th minute, Salford took a 10-0 lead. And there's the try scorer, the latest one, Richard Whiting.
There's the man coming through right on the inside. Bang. Huge gap. Tremendous stuff.
And big credit to Chris Thorman as well. He took the ball to the line, he slowed up his run to attract the defenders, and Chris Whiting just hit a really good line, coming back against the grain, targeting Salford's inside shoulders.
This is Ewan Dowes. Salford at the moment cannot get their hands on the ball.
No, and that is the nature of rugby league. We saw it with St Helens scoring so many tries quickly, Bradford then coming back. And what's important for Salford now is to try and arrest the bleeding of the scoreboard, isn't it? It's ticking against them. They need to do something here to stop the momentum that Hull have. And that means being very, very clean. You cannot afford to concede any more penalties at this stage, because Hull have had 4 times as much possession inside the Salford half than the Reds have. And here's a good little short pass too.
It was a great ball, that. The chance here for Washbrook to get away. There's a problem in back play for Robbie Paul, who is on. He's making his way back now into the defensive line. Thorman with the chip down the middle. And will that have too many legs? It has.
Not a bad option. Slowly but surely getting into this game. That's a good restart. Very good restart.
Magnificent restart it is. It is Stefan Ratchford.
Well, that's got to be a penalty interference, and that could be a sin bin. And that really should be. Well, Danny Tickle, to me, this is a professional foul. It was a wonderful run by Stefan Ratchford. And when he gets to him, he deliberately delays it. Now, to me, professional foul, 10 minutes.
Well, they've lost a lot of advantage. Hull have all got back to regroup, and they already had 5 tackles left.
Yes, absolutely. It's unfair at times, isn't it? Robbie Paul for Salford and finds Luluai. There was a question mark over the validity of that pass as well. That ball has come out.
Lost possession.
He's lost possession.
Philip Luluai is furious, and he did lose it.
Got no call, mate.
You must say that there was no interference. The man had his back to him. They just lost control.
Change your mind now, pal.
It's up to the ball carrier
Second row is getting.
to ensure that he keeps that possession. Well, a golden opportunity just frittered away.
Yes, it was. There was so much promise in that movement there for Salford. Just caught the elbow, didn't he, of the grounded player, Mike Burnett.
This will be an interesting set of 6 to see how Salford really cope with that. Things starting to go against them. They've really got to get back into the game, as Phil said before. They've got to come up with a good defensive set of 6 here, return the ball. If it's 5 scoots and a kick, it doesn't matter. Keep control of that ball and don't give any daft penalties away.
They get Ewan Dowes down eventually. This is Danny Houghton.
Well, Terry is absolutely spot on, mainly due to the fact the last 2 tries that Hull have scored came from both penalties given away deep down their opposition half by the Salford Reds.
That's the last tackle for Hull here. Houghton and Thorman. and Horn. He was outside the 40. But it's another tantalising kick for John Wiltshire, who's lost a little bit of confidence after making that knock on earlier. He's lost a bit of ground as well. It's a good chase from Hull.
Well, he hesitated there. It looked for one minute. He was going to go take it on the full, which he should have. Probably would have gained him an extra 15 metres, and that's a relieving penalty.
He went down then, John Wiltshire, who looked pleadingly at referee Jamie Leahy.
Well, Mike Burnett was trying to swing him over.
A great kick from Stephen Ratchford. We saw what he could do when he runs with the ball. Often we overlook the importance of the kick with the penalty to gain ground. You work your socks off to make 10 metres running with the ball. Teams often just kick it without any real interest into the side of the field and look to play on from there. But more and more teams now looking to use that as a way of gaining ground.
Here's Richard Myler. He's only 18 years of age. Myler, he already has an England cap to his name. He was named by Tony Smith in that match against Wales last year in Doncaster before the senior squad went off to the World Cup, and he's certainly one for the future.
Well, he acquitted himself well on that particular day, and he's doing okay here. Delayed pass.
Short ball that was from
Robbie Paul,
who was in at dummy half as the ball was played to him by Lee Jewett. Here's Myler, this is Wiltshire. That's good defence. That's a tremendous tackle. It was Kirky Eamon's tackle, and that's a high kick now. And here's opportunity for Calderwood, who went to ground immediately.
Great take. He did well. No chance of a voluntary tackle. Not that many are given these days, but he was quick to try to get off the ground as soon as he had accepted the football. Now it's important now that the Reds really keep Hull in their own quarter.
It won't be easy. That was a terrific run from Danny Tickle. Real power in the legs.
There's nothing there.
Here comes Cusack again for Hull.
It was a real tough run, Eddie. He was coming off a real slow play of the ball. And the Salford defence have really starting to get up and trying to put pressure on. But these are brave carries from the Hull set of forwards. Been defending really strong in the middle of the park, and then to bring the ball away, 37 minutes, they've took some energy out of themselves.
And that's not the best from Thorman. It's collected by Darryl Goulding. He gets to halfway on the first tackle. Another bit of interference there. It's a very skinny 10 metres that Jamie Leahy was keeping then.
Second! Move! Wait! Go!
Opportunity here for Adam Sidlow.
Move back!
Both sides quite happy just to trundle the forwards down the middle.
Myler gives it back to Smith. And this is Adamson. Important tackle by Whiting. Try scorer not too long ago. Try saver there with that tackle. Ratchford to Smith to Luluai. Philip Luluai is grounded on the last. 18 metres away from the Hull goal line. Here is Richard Myler. Myler taking the opportunity himself, caught in possession.
Well, they should have done better than that, the Reds. One of the very few occasions that they've been pretty close to the Hull FC's line. They should have been hunting for the second set of 6 with a dropout underneath the sticks. He knows it too, Sean McRae. You're having good, hard, solid work from your forwards, and then you just waste it. Well, not getting the good kick in. The handover, to me, is a sin.
This is Calderwood again. Less than a minute and a half to the half-time siren. And, Dominic Maloney has it for Hull FC. This now is Yeaman. Halted on the last. Kick from Thorman has to be good. Not bad. It's gone over the sideline, but it was the right side of the upright, the corner post, as far as.
Well, it was a contented kick rather than one to challenge or even put your opponents under pressure, wasn't it? Maybe they are contented at 16 points to 10, having gone 10 points behind with those 2 early tries.
I think you're right, Phil, mainly due to the fact that the last 3 kicks before that from Chris Thorman have not been good. Just getting a bit of confidence, put it in, knows that the clock's ticking away. They've got the 6-point lead.
They'll hunt for the mistake now. You have to say that wasn't a very confident approach to the kick from John Wilshere. He's obviously lost a lot of confidence since he knocked on from the long kick downfield earlier in the half.
And not only that, he came up with a drastic error very, very early in the piece.
Go.
We saw a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? Remember, Hodgson made a mistake right from the kickoff. It can just knock your confidence, and it takes you ages to get back into the game.
Robbie Paul, they go down that right-hand side again. And there's the half-time siren.